welcome to all of you and to our guest, Pastor Mickey Hardy.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Always a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you for giving us this exclusive interview. And before we start, for those who don't know who Pastor Mickey is, he's a pastor, a servant of God. He's been in the ministry for 40 years. He's also a husband, a father, a grandfather, and you founded CTMI, Church Team Ministries International, which is an international network that brings together pastors from different countries and denominations who want to work together to build and restore the Church of Jesus Christ. So, Pastor Mickey, we're here this evening to talk about the Build conferences. The first virtual edition took place in May 2021, and some exciting numbers. You reached 13,000 pastors in 100 countries across the world. Besides these numbers, what encouraged you the most about the conferences?
Well, firstly, just to mention numbers, 15,000 pastors, it was well above our expectation. So it is very, very encouraging. And to know that there will be more as from the second conference, it is exciting. And we have a lot of good testimonies of pastors who have been touched by the gospel and who are ready to start living the gospel. And what is important as well is for them to be able to reach out to their congregation. So it's been an encouragement to us, a challenge as well, but also a big encouragement to see the result of the conference.
So, Pastor Mickey, the second Build conference is scheduled for this year, 11th and 12th of November, and it's the second part of a series of 4 international virtual conferences, which you're targeting towards pastors and other servants of God. Why did you choose to conduct the conference series, and what can pastors expect from this conference?
Well, Rox, I think that the first conference has been a laying down of a foundation, and which is not enough. That's why we want to continue and have 3 more conferences where the pastors and the leaders of churches will be able to have a good understanding and a good package of information and how to serve the Lord in the right spirit. And so I think it's important for them, because sometimes when you do only one conference, it's not enough. But now we have the opportunity to do 4 conferences, and I'm sure that it will be able to help them much more.
You mentioned that the Build conference is intended for pastors, but who else is invited for the conference?
Well, may I say that it will mainly be for pastors, of course, and their wives. We expect their wives to be with them, because it's always nice. And sometimes, you know, women, they catch things quicker than even the men. But what is important is to understand that they are the key actors in the building of the church, because it's through them that the message is brought to the congregation. So when you touch the life of the pastors and you bring them the gospel, so you have the key elements to build the Church of Jesus Christ the way the Lord wants.
Okay. For anybody that has listened to your first virtual conference, the Build conference, there's a sense of urgency in what you're preaching and what you're communicating. Why this urgency?
Well, I think that we all know, I'm sure that most of the Christians know that the church is not what it should be in this time and hour that we are living before the return of Jesus Christ. There's a lot of heresies, a lot of false doctrine around, which has been prophesied by the apostles, even Jesus, that in the last days this is what's going to happen. So what's happened is that the church has drawn away from the true message of Jesus Christ and the message of the apostles. So there is an urgency to bring the church back to the original, simple, powerful gospel of Jesus Christ. And the urgency is also because if we do not stop that ball rolling in the wrong direction, it will be harder and harder to bring it back to the true gospel. So that's the urgency that I feel in my heart to bring to the church and shake the church and bring these pastors to understand that this is a time for God to restore the church and bring God's people into freedom.
Wonderful, wonderful, Mickey. And lastly, what would you like to say to those pastors that are listening to us today to encourage them to attend the Build Conference number 2, 3, and 4, which are coming?
Well, firstly, let me say that even now, during this time that we are speaking, there are hundreds of pastors who have not heard the first virtual Build Conference, and they have heard about it. They received the news now, and now they are gathering and hearing the conference. So it is very important for the pastors that have not heard the first conference to listen to it, because it speaks about the foundation. So when they hear that, when they have caught it, then the second, the third, and the fourth conference will be of greater benefit to them, because the foundation has been laid and now they can understand more and more of what's happening after. So I want to encourage all the pastors to be faithful, to listen to all the conferences. One is not going to help them a lot. If they want to be helped fully and in the light of the gospel, they will have to listen to the 4 conferences. And as I said earlier on, this is a package. So I would just want to encourage the pastors to really come, listen, and you are going to be edified. And I'm sure it will change your life and your ministry as it has changed my life. And many, many hundreds and thousands of pastors who have listened to the message of the cross, and now their ministry, their marriage, their own lives have been challenged, and we hear testimonies of transformed pastors. So it's very exciting.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mickey, for taking this time to sit with us and also sharing with us what's on your heart for the church.
My pleasure.
So we invite you all to join us for the virtual Build number 2 on the 11th and 12th of November 2021. You will be able to watch the conference online or at a number of host churches where the conference will be broadcast. You can find all the information you need and register at www.buildconference.org. And we can also announce the dates of Build 3, which will take place on the 3rd and 4th of March 2022. And Build number 4 on the 26th and 27th of May next year. Thank you for being with us, and please share this video with all the pastors you know and encourage them to participate in the conference, which is open to all pastors and church leaders. Thank you.
Build is a series of international virtual conferences for pastors and leaders of churches. Don't miss Build 2 on the 11th and 12th of November 2021. More information on www.buildconference.org.